G'day, Chris Walker here, and today I want to talk about reverse engineering failure in relationships so that we create success. So we take the things that go wrong for people when a relationship fails, and we work out how we could avoid that, and therefore we should be, in theory, reverse engineering failure into success. So let's have a look. There are four things that come with that people suffer from at the end of a relationship. Firstly, they lose their identity. Now, that means that some part of their personality, whether it was approval or whether it was, let's say, their partner was practical, or whether their partner was good with money or a good cook or something, we seem to think that we can weld or glue or attach or super glue some part of somebody else onto us and make us complete. Now, if there's ever a bunch of poppycock in the world, that's it. Now, the religious marriage ceremony tries to make it appear so, because once upon a time, relationships were about ownership. And let's go to the second point, which is a loss of control. When classical religious relationships, one person becomes the possession, the ownership, the property of the other, even to the extent in early, in the late, I think 19th century, 1900s, in the late 1800s, 19th century, when a woman passed away, what was written on a tombstone was a husband's name. So there's a sense, and there's a lot of that still permeates our society. And so what we can see when people, when relationships end, they feel like they lost control. They can't control who their partner is with. They can't control where they are. They think they had control before they separated, but they didn't. So the next one we go on to is they lose hope. And that means that for some unknown reason, their vision of their life, their plans, their future was all clumped into one big clumsy lump, in which a relationship with a certain person was part of the clumsy lump, the clumping, and that we'll see later that's a little unhealthy. And the last one is that there's a depression or a darkness swoops over a person because they think they'll never love again, or they've lost the ability to love, or they can't be loved like they would dream of. And that's just, again, what you see that causes a lot of people a lot of pain. And if you reverse engineer that, you'll see what I'm about to say is that is just completely an unnecessary hurt. So let's look at what we need to do to have success in a relationship. Number one, we need to turn up. And turn up means you're not there in your relationship with your partner to get something you haven't got. You need to turn up, meaning you need to get your act together and get fulfilled. And that means feel inspired. That means feel whole. That means feel complete. And that means you have to give yourself the nourishment and the rewards and the self and the satisfaction that you would sometimes become codependent on others for. Second thing is you need to be inspired, which means that you need to have x-ray vision, because your partner is going to go up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. Your partner's going to have their stuff that's standard truth, whether it be from a Christian teaching or an Eastern teaching, or a Judaic teaching, or even a Islamic teaching, that there is going to be suffering, there's going to be struggle. And if you buy into somebody else's struggle, it means you both got the struggle. It's like having one person catching the mumps and you think you're going to actually make it better for them by catching the mumps too, or the measles, or whatever it is. So we need to have x-ray vision and see through their troubles, and therefore have compassion, be able to be with them without trying to stop them or fix them or change them. The third one is that you need to have your own vision. And a vision, there's 7 areas of life, so you need 7 visions. And that means if one of the areas of life comes unstuck, like a relationship area, you've got 6 others that are pumping along nicely, and it's not such a climactic collapse that the whole of life fell down the toilet. It's a piece of it didn't go as you planned, and that's going to happen from time to time in all areas of life. And so what we need to be doing there is recognizing that you have 7 visions, and you still have a few legs to stand on if one of them comes unfurled, and you have to do some process on it rather than to think your whole life's gone down the toilet and you're finished. Finally, love, 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 love more. This really means that when you have a relationship breakdown and it's finished and you have a heartbreak, if you reverse engineer that, it means that you need to love more than just your partner. You need to love nature, love your job, love yourself, love your acting, love your working, love your singing, love your fishing, love your piano playing, love. So let's have a look at turning up. You work hard, you're actually doing everything hard at work, and you walk in the front door and your partner's there. The question you're going to ask yourself is, am I turned up? Have I arrived? Or am I still worrying about work or worrying about tomorrow? Have I arrived in this space available? And the answer to that question will really come to you straight away, because if you're worried about anything to do with you when you're with somebody else, you haven't turned up. So when you're with somebody else, the emphasis must be on their values, their life, their journey, their trip, their situation, and that can only happen, you can only give that weight if you are not over zealously worried about me, and I and my and all that sort of stuff. So getting over yourself, and that's a really important part of a great successful long-term relationship, and that is called turning up. I call the 4 words: gratitude for them, presence with them, certainty that you are in a relationship with them, and love for life. Inspired. Look, 2 people come together, and the purpose of a relationship is not happiness. The purpose of a relationship is to support and challenge each other. And that's really critical to know, because they're going to support and challenge you, and if you keep buying into their stuff and buying into their problems and buying into the things that they think about themselves, you're going to be operating with them at the same level that they operate with themselves, and you can't do that. What you need to do is create, in some sense, a beautiful what's called avatar, and that avatar becomes who they are. They are a beautiful soul, they are a beautiful spirit, and you hold that avatar and you let them vacillate either side of that avatar. And sure, you have understanding and compassion and witnessing, but you can't keep buying into their stress. Otherwise, why are they with you? Because there's no good reason for it. You are part of their problem. So part of a long-term sustainable, healthy, loving, heart-filled, sexy relationship is to be, in a sense, to have X-ray vision and be able to see through people's stuff. And the way I teach that is through the universal laws. The next one is to have your own vision, and we've talked about that a little bit already on this. There are 7 areas of life. Each has its own vision. If you don't have each of the 7 visions exciting and challenging and enthralling and with goals, then you've lumped it all together. And when you lump life together, say, oh, I've got a happy relationship and we will be in Botswana tomorrow. That's just so if any piece of the jigsaw comes unstuck, the whole thing falls down. So this is what we're trying to avoid at all times. Finally, love, 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 love more. Love trees, ice cream, work, friends, love music, love. And that's an attitude of gratitude that gives you the ability to love things. So I'd say an attitude of gratitude is what's really vital here. So when we reverse engineer failure into success, we realize that people who turn up and get over themselves so that they can be available for their partner have long-term healthy relationships. People who are inspired, in other words, have a bigger picture, so they don't get caught up in another person's emotional TikTok, so that they can hold the space of love and presence. It's very important. Vision. Have your own vision. Only 33% of your life overlaps a partner at the best of times. So the other 66.6666% of your life needs to be your responsibility, needs to be your enthusiasm, and needs to be goal-driven and habit-formed. And finally, love, 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 love more. The more you love somebody, the easier it is to be with them. The more you love somebody, the more vulnerable you are. But look, pain is part of life and suffering is part of life. If you hold back, you're guaranteed to have more pain than if you actually give more. This is Chris Walker. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.